China is what they call a command economy. A lot of people would just call that, communism, but any type of organized economy that comes from top down that decides how the means of production are going to be utilized is a command economy. Now, China's a little different than, say, Russia. And this occurred back in the 70s when China did their opening up. China wants to have the control over the economy and the people in the way that a communist system or Leninist system encourages. And they also want to have the growth and they want to have the prosperity that comes from a capitalistic economy. And this is a really difficult one to juggle. And China has allowed a lot of freedom to its people in order to make this happen. However, they've also kept in mind that their goal is not to give everyone, the freedom to do what they want, but to give them enough freedom and enough prosperity that they're willing to overlook civil liberties that they are not allowed. As it was put earlier, a couple of years ago, I heard the Chinese people would love to have freedom of speech and all the other, liberal benefits that come along with it. However, they would rather have washing machines. And when an economy is very poor and they start becoming more prosperous and they get things that make their life better, they're overwilling to overlook a lot of negatives. However, as these populations become more prosperous and become wealthier and in turn have more time to sit around and ask, is there something better? Are we being treated fairly? Is the government taking too many liberties on our freedom? That is when they start running into problems. And we have been seeing the communist government under Xi Jinping kind of take a back step. And he's trying to crack down a little bit more, which is really hard because the genie's out of the bottle at this point. And in order for him to take control back of the country, he's actually going to have to force some level of deindustrialization in order to reduce prosperity. And this is very unfortunate, but you can't have both. At some point, one thing is going to break over the other.